Hey everybody, Brandon from the Vancouver Pupps here with a little project that I was working on today, and I wasn't planning originally on filming this, but I did realize that this plant that we're going to be working on today is sort of an unofficial character of the show. I didn't include the plant in the list of characters when I was counting them up to 15. The most recent one, Moppy, was the 15th character. But I guess this would sort of be the unofficial 16th, because even though it's just a flower and plant that I made up, it still sort of will have character, and I was planning on evolving this flower more to sort of create some sort of personality in life, sort of like a Little Shop of Horrors kind of thing. It's long-term future plans, though. But right now, this plant is mainly a prop, and I've been using this prop for a long time. Actually, this is the original prop, which is just a bunch of these fake branches that are like bendable. They're wired branches, and then a bunch of these pom-poms I attached. And I just stuck that into a pot, and that has been in the background for several episodes, especially the earlier videos. But I went to the Looney store today. I want to expand this, because I want to have this really amazing prop in the background for an upcoming video that we're working on. So really want to make the plant grow a lot more. So I went to the Looney store and picked up some flower, a lot of flowers actually in pink, and these are sort of some of the ones I like the most. I'm not sure what these are. They should have kept the tags, but yeah. These ones are nice, and these ones are longer. I think these ones are going to have these ones sort of in the back. Now you'll see already, I don't want these to be just regular flowers. The reason I made this up is because it looked kind of unearthly. There's no plant other than like, I don't know, like a pussy willow or something, but they're not even this big. This looks like a plant you might see in like Dr. Seuss or something like that, but I just sort of made this up because it looked unearthly. It looked like something that didn't quite exist on this planet. I like the idea of how around the Vancouver Pupps, sort of reality bends a little bit, and you start to see just more bizarre things around them that don't really exist in the real world. So I want to alter these flowers to make them look a little more unearthly. And so what I'm going to do is I have a whole bunch of these beautiful ostrich feathers trimmed that I'm going to cut into pieces. Two different colors here. One's like a dark, sort of a purpley dark blue, and the other one's a nice sky blue. And I'm going to cut out little parts and add them in there so that you get that lovely movement from the ostrich feathers. I love ostrich feathers because they just add so much personality just with the natural movement that they have. So I'm just going to add a whole bunch of this blue, which is a nice contrast to the pink, into all of these to make them look a little more unique and different. And same thing with these, except I'll do the dark, the purpley ones in these flowers, and just make it look like they're just not just basic pink flowers that you'd find on Earth. I also kind of like these ones too, but I don't know, we'll have to see. These ones I was thinking of maybe trying painting a little bit, but we'll see. I might get some gold paint or something like that and sprinkle that, and maybe I have some other little things coming out of it. But we got a lot of options here. We got more than enough flowers between all the original branches and now these new flowers. Yeah, it'll be a lot. And then there's also going to be more leaves. That's another thing too. I need to get some leaves, or I haven't decided if I'm going to just buy leaves and then add wires to them, because there's also going to be an animation element to this as well. We'll try and do a little test on that as well in this episode. But what I want to do is either buy some leaves or make some leaves and with wires in them so that they can actually move. Because I'd like to have this whole sort of plant bloom. And I picked up some green paint. So there's a little bit of what I can start on now. I'm still going to need to go to Michael's to get some things like green floral tape. And possibly a few other things too. I can't remember what I need from there actually, but yeah, we'll look into that. But what I can get started on, at least for now, is adding the ostrich feathers to the flowers. I want to make these flowers that we bought at the Looney store look a little more alien, and before we're ready to incorporate these all together, because I have a new system of how these are all going to fit in here. What I used to do is, see, this is just attached with like a foam noodle piece and wrapped in tape, and I used to just stick in here. And then I used to cover it with beads, or like marbles and stuff. But I don't have any of those marbles. I don't know where they all went. I think I threw them away. So I gotta think of a new way of having this guy kind of sit up in here, but I'll figure it out. But yeah, anyway, that's what I'm gonna start doing today, is just starting to cut up little pieces of the trim and gluing them inside these flowers. So once we're done that, we'll move on to the next step. All right, so I decided for these, I wanted to have 3 little pieces of the blue coming out. So I just want to cut little pieces of this trim about this long that just fit nicely in here. It works really well. And they're going to be just dabbed with a little bit of the Elmer's glue too, in order to keep it in there. But what I did was I calculated how many flowers we had and multiplied it by 3, so that I basically calculated how many of these little pieces we need, and I just marked. You can see with a marker I just marked how many pieces. So I'm just going to cut all these out and then just get a little Elmer's glue, dab each little bit of this, and stick 3 in each one of these. And that'll be the first one. All right, so I've got all my little pieces cut. They're all sort of down there, you can see. So now I'm going to concentrate on these. And I got my little bit of glue here, glue and a paintbrush, just Elmer's glue. All right. So like I said, my goal was to get 3 in each of these ones. I'm just going to this should be super easy. Just put a little glue on it and then just add some pressure to it at the base of the inside of the flower. Just like that. There we are. There's one. I'm being generous with the glue as well, so there'll be a nice strong hold. And try and put these in thirds around the flowers. And doesn't that look nice? That looks really nice, I think. So just keep moving on. Well, there we go. There's the first set of flowers. So I'm just going to let the Elmer's glue dry, and that should glue nice and strong. And yeah, those look kind of fun. That looks like not any kind of flower you can just go into a store to buy. So there we go. All right, so let that dry. But next I'm going to be working on the darker feathers with these ones. And they're going to kind of go in just similarly. Probably just put 2 little pieces in each one of these. So now that we have the feathers kind of looking sort of the way we want, what I need to do is I want to create these sort of large green leaves that will wrap around it, sort of like a pod. It'll sort of make them like a pod. So this will be just one big pod. This will be the big one. And then these I'm going to cut and divide these into half, because I don't want these bunched up too much. But this will be another pod. I think I'll do 4 and... It looks like 4 and 5. And then so just one smaller pod here. This is a big one. And then this one will be a little bit smaller and it'll cover like 4 or 5. Not sure how I'm going to do that. It might have to be all the way down to here, actually. It might end up being a big pod after all, actually. Because I'm just thinking, I can't just attach the pod at the base of all the flowers, because I don't want to lose these leaves. So I think the pod is actually going to have to go from down here. So these are going to be pretty big, actually. But that's okay, whatever. And I got 2 bundles of these, and I got 2 of these. So that means I need to make these enough leaves to make these sort of round pods to cover 6. You know, I'm just looking at the size. So now if I go down to here and make the pod, that's almost the same size as what this is going to be. Because this is the base of this. Yeah, so I can probably just use the same pattern for both of them, it looks like. This one's going to have a little wasted space in it, though. I don't know. I'll think about that. Alright, so I'm going to need some paper. I have this, but now I'm thinking these aren't going to be big enough. Yeah, no, I'm going to get some bigger paper. Alright, we'll do one at a time. We'll start with the big guy here. And yeah, I'm going to be adding wires to those later. I forgot to mention as well at the beginning, in the ostrich feathers, I also have green and brown. And I think I am going to use some of this green around the edge of the pot, just to add a little, like, surprise there. And then I might add some of the brown ones to the pom-pom branches, but we'll have to look into that later. Alright, so here's some paper. Alright, now I have to decide play here. Alright, so how big am I going to want this pattern piece to be? I'm going to keep all of the leaves. So let's see. So it's going to go to around here. And there's the tip, yeah, and then it'll kind of go giving us lots of room. Alright, pod. I'll write on here pod. And this is going to be... Alright, so I think that looks good. Let's take a look at quick little look at that. It's going to be like two or it's not just going to be two. There's going to be three of them going around. So I'm going to put this one... This is the one with the darker blue feathers. So, dark blue. And that's going to be folded, of course. Alright, so here's the two pattern pieces we're going to go for. So this is the one for the light blue. And here's the one for the purple. So there's going to be three of these for each. What I'm going to do is create 3 leaves so that hopefully when I add wires to them, 3 will be enough to wrap around these. They should be. Like that almost does half of it, so it should be fine. 3 all the way around. There'll be some overlap and it should look good, I think. And I'm going to put wires in them, like I say, so that we can animate these pods, these leaves. Yep, this is good. Okay, good. So, originally what I was going to do is I was going to just cut all these out of muslin or something like that, or white fabric or something, and then paint them. I got some green paint here I was going to do with the leaves. But I think to save us some time, I was looking through some fabrics, some scrap fabrics I had. And I have this old bed sheet that I've been holding onto for years, because originally I was going to use this as like a lining for like a jacket or something. Back when I was doing my clothing line, I thought this might be a cool lining, and it would be a cool lining, but it's sort of green and looks textured, like almost like marbled. It's sort of like a tealy green. I don't know, I really like it. So I think I might just cut these out of this, trying to avoid these blue spots if I can. Could be tough. Yeah, I don't want the blue. I might not be able to use this. You know what? I could do it on bias. Because it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So I could actually, yeah, it'll fit. So no problem. I can cut these in the bias because we're going to be adding wires and then gluing these. So it doesn't matter. So that's good. So yeah, so I'm going to cut these out of this fabric if I can. And let me think here. There's going to be 4 bundles of these. So that makes, so that's 12. And then this one we're only going to need 6. There's only 2 of those. So I'm going to cut all those out, and then we'll get to the stage where we're ready to start putting, attaching the wires. Alright, so I cut out all of the leaves. So here they are. Here's the smaller ones, and here's the bigger ones. But I'm just going to have one set of each for now. So I can figure out what I'm going to be doing here. I think I know how this is going to work. So I have some very lightweight, this is pretty lightweight gauged wire. This is galvanized steel, 22 gauge. Because we don't need to have a very strong wire for this. So what I want to do is run one wire down the middle and then have one sort of around the edge a little bit. That's sort of what I envisioned. So I'm going to get out a piece of wire about this long to serve as the middle. That's probably too long, but that's okay. This could be difficult to do. Okay, but anyway, we'll just see. I want this to lay as flat as I can from... I'll go for that for now. Okay. And then I'm just going to run a single wire around the perimeter. And this one's going to get connected to this. This is sort of how we're going to do it. I'm going to twist this around. All right, so this is sort of what we wanted, and then I'm gonna like just bend this around. That's even too long, I think. That's okay. Okay, now I'm gonna be using glue on this. This is gonna be kind of tricky, I think. I think what I might need to do, oh boy, it's gonna be tough. Let me just think, how am I gonna do this? I might even be able to use some tape. Hold on, that's an idea. I'm going to try using some tape. Yeah, now this is going to be... not this one. So I'm just going to get some little pieces here and try this. This is not a bad idea. It's good. Just enough to sort of hold them in place. Put one in the middle. Put one down here. Put one there. Put a piece of tape there. I guess I'll put the last one there. All right, so there we go. So that's not bad. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some glue. I'm going to be using a lot. All right, and I'm just going to cover this with as much. Just try and do a very thin layer of glue over this whole thing. Make sure you do a lot on the tip. All right. This wire doesn't want to stay down, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do now is just take the other sheet. I'm going to take another layer of the sheet. Make sure this is all, no, make sure there's a little extra glue here. And I'm going to just lay this on top now. Yeah, making sure that the wires and everything are inside. All right, there we go. So that's not bad. That turned out pretty well. Yeah, good. I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to let that dry. I think I'm going to actually just turn this into like a little hook. And then I can let that hang. I have a bar that I let things dry at, so that's perfect. All right, so we have a lot of these to make. That was just the first one. I need to make like, let me think here, 12 petals. 1, 2, 3, no, 6 of those. Yeah, for the big one, that's right. And then 12 for the other one, so it's quite a bit. It's like 18 in total, but that's okay. So once these dry, then I'm gonna be painting them a little bit, making them look a little bit more like leaves. But yeah, that's the first step done. So there we go. So I'll let you guys know once we've done all of those. All right, so first step is done. Here we are. There's 18 of those pod leaves. There they are. They're all just sticking together, gluing. So that's the first step, but once these the glue is set, I'm going to add a little bit of paint. Some of the green and yellow paint to these to make them look more like leaves. All right, and now they're drying with a couple layers of green paint. So I've just added some color and texture to those, and I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to some of them as well. But yeah, we're just about ready to start using them, but they're looking all right, looking like pretty colorful, luscious leaves. So it's just what I wanted. All right, and now we are just letting them dry with the final coating of Mod Podge. And I'm gonna add a few other little details. I'm gonna get, I think, a marker and just add some vein lines into some of these leaves. But yeah, these ones are all just drying now with the Mod Podge. But yeah, pretty soon. This is the first one I did, so it's pretty much almost dried now, and it looks and feels great. Got a little shine to it, which is what I like. More like a leaf. Anyway, this should work out well. So once these are done drying, we'll be able to experiment a little bit with them and see how they're gonna fit in with the flowers. All right, so we're at the stage where we want to start creating these little bundles of flowers with the pods. So I don't think I want to add any more than about 4. But yeah, here's the leaves, by the way. I mean, here they are. They all are. They all turned out really, really well. They look nice. I put the little like veins in them so that they look a little more like leaves. But we want about 3 per pod I'm going to try and do. So let's see. So I've already sort of like curled these up a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to do about 4 of these. So the whole idea is going to be to kind of like overlap them like this. Overlap, and then this should go under. So there it is. So when it's all closed, it should be kind of like that. And what I want to do is basically, yeah, try making this tight. And then I want to I got the little twist ties here. I'm just going to use these for now and see if this works. But basically, make sure that these are all tied together really, really well. Make sure the twist ties are nice and tight. All right. Where is one? All right, so what I'm going to do now is take some tape. And I'm definitely going to tape down these ends, which are kind of annoying. And then I'm going to put some other tape over the twist tie areas, just to kind of cover the wires. All right, so that's duct tape, nice and strong. I'm gonna add another one here. Okay, that looks looking pretty good. Now what I do is I got this. I've never used this stuff before, but I got this waterproof floral tape. I've never used this before. I thought I would just try this. I don't really know if this is gonna work out or not, because what I can probably just do is paint this, but let me just see if this works. So I think what you do with this floral tape is basically attach it at the base and then just spin this around, I think is how it works. Yeah, I don't know, that seems to be working. So I'm just gonna like keep wrapping this. I don't even think this will take me that long. Let's just keep going here. I might want to seal this too. I might end up sealing these stems with some Mod Podge just to kind of like glue it all together and seal it in. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm just wrapping this green tape around and around it goes. Seems to be working pretty well, overlapping. All right, that should be good. All right, well that's kind of cool. That doesn't look so bad. That feels good too. Okay, so there we go. So now what I'm gonna do is I think this will be a good enough piece to do a test with. I'm gonna do a little animation test and just see if this one will work. Hopefully it does. Hopefully we can make this bloom and open up. And then assuming that works, then I'll just make arrangements to making the whole thing sort of blossom for a future episode. But I'll at least show you the end product and how the whole plant is going to work once it's all done, okay? So let's see how the animation goes. There you go, guys. That's the animation test. It was really crude. It was only about, it's only going to be a couple seconds because I only took about 40 frames for that just to kind of make sure it would work. But I think it will. But it was only, like I said, a couple seconds. But when I do the full bloom now, what I'm going to work on next, that one's going to be, I'm going to try and take 100 to 120 pictures. So it should be 5 or 6 seconds. So we'll have a lot more time to sort of do its magic, and the animation will look a little bit better, I hope. It should still be janky though, which is sort of my style. I don't mind that it looks a little jerky and rough. So I'm going to set up now for the whole bloom, or the whole bouquet, and see if we can get all of these flowers blooming. So let's go. All right, just kind of wanted to show a little bit of what we're doing here. So I chose this kind of a bin because this is nice. This plastic is a lot easier to cut. It's kind of like more rubbery. This is a Rubbermaid container. But yeah, basically, and then there's a hole here that goes through here, and then that's basically how I'm going to be pulling the plants, the flowers and plants through there, and they're going to be coming out the back, and we're going to be filming from the other side, which is solid. That's going to be covered in black anyway. You're not going to see that. It's going to be focusing on the pots, and that's it. So that's sort of how it's coming along. We have to sacrifice a bin in order to do this special effect, but it should turn out really, really well. So just keep working at this and getting everything set up. I haven't decided if I'm going to just put a black sheet over this and cut a hole in the black sheet, or if I'm just going to paint this black. But yeah, this needs to be black because it's all going to be on a black backdrop. Anyway, onward we go. All right, well, we're slowly getting ready. We're slowly getting to the point where I can start filming. So I have my tripod set up and my lights are here. They're going to be coming out, but here's the black backdrop. So what I've done is, here is a Tupperware bin, which I have attached. This is attached with screws in the bottom here, and there's a hole in the bottom. And then these are a bunch of the tubes that are going to get passed. The flowers are going to get passed through, and they're going to come right down out through here, and I'll be able to pull the flowers through. But in order to do this properly, it's going to be very important that everything is sealed down very securely, and so it doesn't move. So I will not be able to move the table until all the pictures are taken. The bin has to be secured to the table. I'll use duct tape for that. And the camera has to be secured down and cannot move. So those things cannot move at all. But yeah, now all I have to do now is just secure all that down. And then I have a black sheet as well. Forgot to show that. There's a black sheet that will cover the blue bin. So it'll just be the flower pot in all black. And then we'll start taking these flowers and placing them in here. And then that's it. And then we're ready to start taking pictures and pulling things through. And we'll just see how it all comes together. My goal is to get between 100 and 120 pictures to make 5 to 6 seconds of animation. So we'll see how it goes, all right? On we go. All right, so now that we're done with the animation, I'm gonna keep this, but this is the false bottom one, and we're gonna move the flowers over to, this is the terracotta pot. This is a real terracotta pot, nice and heavy and sturdy. So there's a little foam block that I got for that. I'm going to just put this trim around the edge, and then all the flowers, which are here, are going to be stuck back in there, and then that's going to be the prop that's going to mainly sit around the apartment in the background. But I'll just get that set up, and then we'll finish things off. All right, so there we go, guys. There's another fun little project done. So the plant is going to be a very important, is going to continue to be a very important prop for the Vancouver Pupps. Now that it's all done, I can kind of just put it up on the shelf for it. It's going to stay mostly. But yeah, no, that was a really difficult shot to get. The animation is, of course, really jerky, but that's totally fine. It's totally part of the style of the Vancouver Pupps. But yeah, no, we've expanded our sort of character of the plant. And maybe we'll be able to evolve this plant a little bit more in the future as well. Like I said, I thought it might be kind of fun to do sort of like a little Shop of Horrors thing. And who knows, maybe this plant can sort of become even more alive. All right, that's it. So yeah, that was one major step that I needed to do for a big upcoming video that I'm working on. But yeah, at least we're one step closer to having that complete. And yeah, great. So thank you all very much for watching my video today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking down below. I'm Brandon from the Vancouver Pupps. Thank you all very much for watching my video today. Have a good one. Bye for now.